The moment Baba turned, saw the schoolgirl collapse onto the cracked pavement, her uniform soaked with tears and her shoulders trembling like a wounded bird, he knew something terrible had happened. But what he didn't know, what he couldn't have possibly known as he struggled to stand from his wooden stool under that faded umbrella in Ojuelegba, was that the choice he was about to make would save 2 lives. His own, and hers. The Lagos sun had no mercy that Tuesday morning. It hung heavy and brutal over Ojuelegba, turning the tarred road into a shimmering river of heat. Commercial buses roared past, their conductors screaming destinations like battle cries. Oshodi, Oshodi straight. Yaba, enter quick, quick. The air reeked of diesel fumes, roasted plantain, and desperation. 14-year-old Amara Chidima had been running. She had woken up late because the single bulb in their one-room apartment had blown out the night before, and her mother, Mrs. Chidima, had been too exhausted to notice the time. Her stepfather, Mr. Adewale, had shaken her awake with a violence that made her bones ache. "If you're late to school today," he had growled, his breath sour with last night's gin, "don't bother coming back here." Then he'd thrown the envelope at her. For 1,000 naira. School fees. 3 months overdue. "Your useless mother finally got this from her sister," he spat. "If you lose it, I will personally throw both of you into the street. Do you hear me?" Amara had nodded, her throat too tight to speak. Her mother stood in the corner, eyes lowered, hands clasped. She didn't defend her daughter anymore. The fight had been beaten out of her long ago. Amara had grabbed her bag, shoved the envelope inside, and run. She ran past the buka where she sometimes bought akara when there was money. She ran past the chemist where Mama Ngozi sold malaria drugs and parenting advice in equal measure. She ran until her chest burned and her school shoes, 2 sizes too small, cut into her heels. The school gate was already closing when she arrived. She'd made it. Barely. But as she reached into her bag to pull out the envelope, her hand touched nothing but empty fabric. Her heart stopped. She rummaged through the bag. Books. Pen. A half-eaten bread from yesterday. No envelope. No. 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 Amara turned and ran back the way she came, her vision blurred with tears. She retraced her steps along the roadside, scanning the ground with wild eyes. People pushed past her. A motorcyclist nearly knocked her over. Nobody stopped. Nobody cared. By the time she reached Ojuelegba, her legs were shaking. The tears came in great, heaving sobs. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. All she could see was her stepfather's face, twisted with rage. All she could hear was his voice promising violence. That's when she sank down onto the pavement, her body folding in on itself like something broken. Baba Tund had been sitting under his umbrella for 4 hours that morning, and he'd made exactly 230 naira. It had been a slow day, the kind of day that made his joints ache and his stomach growl. At 55, his body was a map of suffering. His left knee barely bent anymore. His back carried the weight of too many nights sleeping on concrete. His hands, once strong and capable, now trembled when he held them out to strangers. But his heart still worked. So when he saw the young girl in the blue and white school uniform crumble onto the ground just a few feet away, he didn't hesitate. He gripped the edge of his wooden stool, pushed himself upright, and limped toward her. "My daughter," he said gently, his voice rough but warm. "Why are you crying like this?" Amara looked up. Through her tears, she saw an old man. His clothes were faded and patched. His face was lined with years of hardship, but his eyes were kind. "Uncle," she choked out. I lost my school fees." Baba Tun's chest tightened. He'd heard those words before. Many times. From many children. And every time, it broke something inside him. "Calm down, my child," he said, lowering himself to sit beside her on the pavement. "Talk to me. What happened?" Between sobs, Amara told him everything. The envelope, the running, the missing money, and then, in a voice so small it barely reached him, she told him about her stepfather. He said if I don't bring the receipt home today, he'll chase us out. Me and my mother. Her voice cracked. My mother just lost her job. We have nowhere to go. Baba Tund closed his eyes. He thought about his own daughter, the one he'd lost to childbirth 20 years ago, the one whose memory still woke him up at night. This girl could have been her. This girl was somebody's daughter. "How much is the school fees?" he asked quietly. "For 1,000 naira, sir. For 1,000 naira. Baba Tund reached into the deep pocket of his worn trousers and pulled out a small black nylon bag. Inside was everything he'd saved that week. 4,200 naira. It was meant for his rent. His landlord had already threatened to throw him out. His grandson, Ibuka, had been sent home from school for unpaid fees just yesterday. But when he looked at Amara's face, at the terror and hopelessness swimming in her eyes, he knew what he had to do. He counted out 4,000 naira and placed it in her trembling hands. Amara stared at the money, then at him, then back at the money. "Uncle, this is... I can't. Take it," Baba Tund said firmly. "Go and pay your fees. Right now. And please," his voice softened, "be serious in school. Study hard. God will lift you one day." Amara's tears came again, but this time they were different. She clutched the money to her chest and looked at the old beggar like he'd just handed her the world. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "I promise you, I swear on my life, I will never forget you. One day, I will come back for you." Baba Tund smiled, his weathered face creasing into 1,000 tiny lines. "Just remember my name. Baba Tund, the beggar of Ojalegba. Baba Tund," Amara repeated, burning it into her memory. "I will remember." She stood up, wiped her face with the back of her hand, and ran. This time, she ran with purpose, with hope. Baba Tund watched her disappear into the crowd, then looked down at the 200 naira left in his hand. It wasn't enough, not even close, but he felt no regret, only a strange, peaceful warmth in his chest. He didn't know it yet, but he just planted a seed, and 12 years later, it would grow into a tree big enough to save his life. Amara burst through the school gate just as the security guard was about to lock it. "Please, sir, please," she panted. He looked at her tear-stained face and sighed. "Go! Fast!" She ran straight to the bursar's office, her heart hammering. The woman behind the desk looked up with the expression of someone who'd seen too many excuses. "Name: Amara Chidima. JSS 3. The woman checked her records and frowned. "You're 3 months behind." "I know, Ma. I have the money now." Amara placed the 4,000 naira on the desk, each note smooth flat with trembling fingers. The bursar counted it, stamped a receipt, and handed it over without ceremony. "Next time, don't wait so long." "Yes, Ma." "Thank you, Ma." Amara clutched the receipt like it was made of gold and walked to class in a daze. She couldn't concentrate on a single lesson that day. All she could think about was the old man under the umbrella. The way he looked at her with such gentleness. The way he'd given her everything he had without asking for anything in return. When school ended, she walked home slowly, the receipt folded carefully in her pocket. The sun was setting, painting Ojalegba in shades of orange and red. Somewhere in the distance, a church choir was practicing. The sound drifted through the evening air like a prayer. At home, Mr. Adewale was waiting. He sat in the single plastic chair they owned, a bottle of beer in his hand, his face already twisted with suspicion. "Where is the receipt?" he barked the moment she walked in. Amara pulled it out and handed it to him, her hand steady despite the fear coiling in her stomach. He snatched it, examined it front and back, then looked up at her with narrowed eyes. "Why are you coming back so late?" "Please," Mrs. Chidima interjected from the corner where she was peeling yam. Her voice was tired, defeated. "Let the child rest. She's just coming from school. She's tired." Mr. Adewale glared at his wife, then at Amara, then back at the receipt. Finally, he waved his hand dismissively. "Go inside." Amara didn't need to be told twice. She grabbed her bag and disappeared behind the curtain that separated their sleeping space from the rest of the room. She lay down on the thin mat she shared with her mother and stared at the ceiling. One day, she promised herself, "One day, I will be free from this, and I will find Baba Tund again." She didn't know how, but she knew it was true. When Baba Tund finally made it back to his one-room apartment in Bariga that evening, he found Ibuka sitting on the floor, his head in his hands. "Ibuka!" Baba Tund called softly as he set down his wooden stool and umbrella. "What's wrong?" The 20-year-old looked up, his eyes red. "Grandpa, they sent me away from school again today." Baba Tund's heart sank. "The fees?" "Yes, for 1,000 naira. I tried to explain that you would pay soon, but the lecturer said I can't sit for any more exams until it's settled." Baba Tund sat down heavily on the edge of the bed. He reached into his pocket for the black nylon bag, ready to count out what he'd saved, and then he remembered. The girl, the school fees, the 4,000 naira. His hand froze. "Grandpa," Ibuka's voice was tentative. "How much do you have?" Baba Tund pulled out the nylon bag and opened it. 200 naira stared back at him. For a long moment, he said nothing. He just sat there, holding the nearly empty bag, thinking about the choice he'd made. Then he closed his eyes and whispered, "It is well." "What?" Ibuka leaned forward, confused. "My son," Baba Tund said slowly, "something happened today. I helped someone who needed help more than we did. But don't worry, I will hustle. Before the week runs out, I will make sure you go back to school. I promise you that." Ibuka wanted to ask more questions. He wanted to know where the money went, but something in his grandfather's face stopped him. So he just nodded and said, "Okay, Grandpa." That night, Baba Tund lay on his mat and stared at the ceiling. His stomach was empty. His rent was overdue. His grandson's future hung in the balance. But when he closed his eyes, all he saw was Amara's face, the way it had transformed from despair to hope in a single moment. And he smiled. 12 years passed like water through fingers. For Amara, those years were a war. Her stepfather's cruelty didn't soften with time, it sharpened. Every evening was a battlefield, every mistake a reason for violence. He beat her mother for burnt soup. He beat Amara for coming home late from school. He beat them both when he was drunk, which was often, and when he was sober, which was rare. But Amara refused to break. She studied by candlelight when the electricity was cut off. She borrowed textbooks from classmates when they couldn't afford to buy them. She walked 5 kilometers to school when there was no money for transport. And every time she felt like giving up, she thought about Baba Tund. "Study hard. God will lift you one day." She made those words her religion. In secondary school, she came first in her class every term. In her final exams, she scored high enough to earn a scholarship to the University of Lagos. She studied business administration with a focus that bordered on obsession. She graduated with first-class honors. And then she got the job that changed everything. Mrs. Iridi Adebayo was a legend in Lagos business circles. A self-made oil and gas magnate who'd built an empire from nothing. When she came to the university to scout for talent, she interviewed 50 candidates. She chose Amara. "You have something in your eyes," Mrs. Iridi had said during the final interview. "Hunger. Not the kind that comes from poverty, though I can see you've known that too. But hunger for something bigger. That's what I need." Amara started as an assistant manager. Within 2 years, she was managing 3 of Mrs. Iridi's companies. Within 5 years, she was the director of operations for the entire conglomerate. She was brilliant, ruthless when she needed to be, compassionate when it mattered. She made decisions that saved the company millions. She built relationships that opened doors across West Africa. Mrs. Iridi treated her like the daughter she'd never had, and Amara poured every ounce of herself into the work. The money came next. First a salary that made her weep, then bonuses, then investments, then her own properties. By the time she was 32, Amara Chidima owned a 4-bedroom house in Lekki Phase 1. She drove a Mercedes-Benz GL 350. She had money in 3 different banks. She'd moved her mother into a beautiful apartment in Victoria Island and hired a housemaid to take care of her. But there was one person she never invited to share in her success. Mr. Adewale. She cut him off completely, changed her mother's phone number, made sure he had no way to find them. When he showed up drunk at her mother's old address one day, asking for money, the neighbors told him she'd moved. They didn't say where. Let him suffer. Amara had told her mother, her voice cold. Let him feel what we felt. Mrs. Chidima didn't argue. She'd finally found the courage to divorce him. Finally found peace. But there was still one promise Amara hadn't fulfilled. "One day, I will come back for you." She'd never forgotten Baba Tund. Over the years, she'd driven through Ojalegba countless times, searching for the old man with the umbrella. But the city had changed. Streets had been rebuilt. Vendors had moved. And there were so many beggars now. Too many faces, too many stories. She'd almost given up hope of ever finding him. Until one Tuesday afternoon in October, Amara was returning from a meeting when she told her driver to take the Ojalegba route. The traffic crawled. She sat in air-conditioned leather, scrolling through emails, a woman who'd conquer the world that once tried to destroy her. Then she saw him, an old man, wooden stool, faded umbrella. Her heart stopped the car. She stepped onto the road, her heels clicking on pavement, and walked slowly toward the beggar. He looked up, older, thinner, but those kind eyes the same. "Good afternoon, sir." "Afternoon, my daughter. Are you looking for someone?" "Sir." Her voice trembled. "You don't remember me?" Baba Tund studied her expensive clothes, her confident bearing. "No, my daughter. I'm sorry." Amara smiled through tears. "Sir, this is Amara, the girl you gave 4,000 naira to. 12 years ago. Right here." Baba Tund froze. "Amara," he whispered. "The little girl in the school uniform?" "Yes, Papa. That was me." He tried to stand, his legs shaking. Amara steadied him, and when their hands touched, the old man began to weep. "Look at you," he breathed. "Look what you've become. Because of you, Papa." They stood there, an old beggar and a wealthy woman, holding each other while Lagos roared around them. "Papa, I made you a promise. Do you remember? You said you would come back." "Yes, and I'm here to keep it. Come with me." She helped him into her Mercedes. When they arrived at his crumbling building in Bariga, she found Ibuka reading by candlelight. "Grandpa, what's going on?" "Ibuka," Baba Tund said, voice thick with emotion. "This is Amara, the girl I told you about. Amara studied the young man. Tired eyes, worn clothes, stacked books. What are you studying? Computer science, Ma. Final year. I have challenges with fees. Not anymore, Amara said simply. Pack your things. Both of you. You're coming with me. The Lecky apartment was a dream. 3 bedrooms. Marble floors. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lagoon. Papa, Amara said in the master bedroom, this is your house. My daughter, I can't. Yes, you can. She took his hands. 12 years ago, you gave me everything. You saved my life, not just from my stepfather. You saved me from believing the world was only cruel. She placed an envelope in his hands. The deed? It's in your name. She pointed to the parking lot. 2 cars. Yours. And Ibuka, starting Monday, you're my personal assistant. Full salary, and I'll cover your remaining fees. Ibuka's knees buckled. But Amara wasn't done. She showed Baba Tund her phone screen. $400,000, Papa. $100,000 for every year you waited. To show you that your sacrifice was not in vain. Baba Tund collapsed onto the sofa, sobbing. Ibuka fell beside him. Amara knelt before them, and they held each other and wept. Thank you is not enough, Baba Tund finally whispered. You already gave me everything I needed 12 years ago, Papa. This is just me giving back. 3 months later, Amara's mother called. He found us. Amara's blood turned cold. What? Your stepfather. He came drunk, demanding money. He knows you're rich now. He won't bother you again. I'll handle it. 2 days later, Mr. Adewale received a lawsuit for domestic violence and child abuse. Evidence included medical records, witness testimonies, 12 years of documentation. Court date, 3 weeks. Terrified and drunk, he showed up at Amara's office in Victoria Island. Security called upstairs. Amara smiled coldly. Send him up. When Mr. Adewale stumbled into the conference room, he saw Amara at the head of a glass table, flanked by lawyers and security. She looked powerful, untouchable. Sit down. Amara, my daughter. I am not your daughter. Sit down. He sat, bravado crumbling. You came to threaten me. You thought I was still that scared little girl. She pushed a folder across the table. This is the lawsuit. I have documentation of every time you raised your hand to me. Every time you hit my mother. Every threat. His face went pale. I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm teaching you about consequences. She pushed another document forward. You have 2 options. Show up in court, and I make everything public. Or sign this restraining order. Never contact us again. In return, I drop the lawsuit. If you've violated even once, she said quietly, I will make sure you spend time in prison. Do you understand? He nodded, hands shaking. Sign it. He did. When he stumbled out, he looked like a man who'd seen a ghost. The same girl he'd once terrorized had just brought him to his knees without raising her voice. 6 months later, Baba Tund fell ill. Severe pneumonia. He needed immediate intensive care. Amara was in Abuja on business. When she got the call, she took the next flight back. She arrived at midnight, still in her business suit, eyes red from crying. Where is he? Through the ICU window, Baba Tund looked so small, so fragile. The doctors say he needs surgery, Ibuka explained, voice breaking. Whatever it costs, Amara said. Whatever he needs. She stayed 3 days. On the 3rd day, he opened his eyes. Amara! She grabbed his hand. I'm here, Papa. You came back. Of course. You saved my life once. Now it's my turn. Tears rolled down his weathered cheeks. I thought I was just helping a child pay school fees. You were changing everything, Amara finished. You showed me that goodness exists. You saved me from becoming bitter. And now I'm going to make sure you live long enough to see all the other lives you've changed. The surgery was successful. When he was released, Amara threw a celebration. She invited everyone who'd been part of the journey. 12 years ago, she said in her speech, I lost 4,000 naira in Ojalegba. I thought it was the worst day of my life. She looked at Babatund, sitting in his finest ibada, beaming. And then a beggar, a man who had nothing, gave me everything. He didn't just give me money. He gave me hope. He showed me that even in the darkest moments, there are people who choose kindness. She raised her glass. To Babatund, the richest man I've ever known. Not because of what he has, but because of what he gives. The room erupted in applause. Later that night, they sat on the balcony overlooking the lagoon. Do you remember what you told me that day? Amara asked. What did I say? You said, God will lift you one day. Babatund smiled. I remember. You were right. But you were also the hands God used to do the lifting. Amara, he said after a pause, I've been thinking. I want to help other children. Children like you were. Amara felt tears prick her eyes. Of course that's what he would want. Then that's what we'll do. We'll start a foundation. In your name, we'll help children pay their school fees. And we'll teach them what you taught me, Babatund added. That one act of kindness can change everything. 10 years after that birthday party, long after Babatund had peacefully passed away in his sleep at the age of 80, the Babatund Foundation had grown into one of the largest educational charities in West Africa. Amara, now in her early 40s, had expanded it across 6 countries. Over 50,000 children had received scholarships. 30 schools had been built. Hundreds of elderly people had been given dignity in their final years. But the most important thing wasn't the numbers. It was the stories. Stories of children who'd been saved from giving up, just like Amara had been. Stories of people who'd received help and then turned around to help others, just like Amara had done. Stories of kindness multiplying across generations, creating ripples that would never stop spreading. Ibuka now ran the foundation. He'd married and had children of his own, and he taught them the story of their great-grandfather every night before bed. Mrs. Chidima lived in peace, finally free from fear, spending her days volunteering at the foundation office. And Amara had become a symbol of something bigger than herself. People called her the woman who remembered. Schools invited her to speak. Media outlets told her story. Young people looked up to her. But she never forgot where it all started. Every year on the anniversary of that day in Ojalegba, she returned to the spot where Babatund had given her the money. The umbrella and wooden stool were long gone. The area had been developed, but she stood there anyway, closed her eyes and remembered. A beggar who gave everything. A girl who never forgot. A promise that changed everything. And one day, as she stood there with her eyes closed, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to find a young woman, maybe 19, with tears in her eyes. "Excuse me," the girl said nervously. "Are you Amara Chidima? The one who started the foundation?" "Yes. How can I help you?" I wanted to thank you. 5 years ago, I lost my school fees. I was going to drop out, but your foundation gave me a scholarship." The girl's voice trembled. "I just graduated from university last month. I'm starting a job next week." Amara felt tears spring to her eyes. "And I wanted you to know," the girl continued, "that I'm going to do what you did. I'm going to help someone else. I'm going to keep the circle going." Amara pulled her into a hug, and as they stood there on that busy Lego street, She felt Baba Tun's presence as clearly as if he were standing beside them. The circle wasn't complete. It would never be complete, because kindness doesn't end. It multiplies forever. In loving memory of all the Baba Tuns of the world, the ones who give when they have nothing, who choose mercy over bitterness, who plant seeds they'll never see bloom. Your legacy is eternal. And to everyone reading this, you don't need to be rich to change a life. You just need to be willing. The next Amara might be standing right in front of you, waiting for someone to believe in her. Will you be the one? Remember, that single act of kindness you show today could become someone's entire testimony tomorrow. Choose soft. Always choose soft.